According to Sam Amick of The Athletic, the Golden State Warriors have reported interest in Jimmy Butler in a possible Jimmy Butler trade as his relationship with the Miami Heat is trending in the sour direction. Before we start today's show, though, I have a question for you guys. Do you guys even want Jimmy Butler on the Warriors? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I mean, Jimmy could be that number 2 next to Steph Curry. He could make a big impact in this Warriors roster. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Could Jimmy Butler be traded to the Warriors? That's what we're going to dive into on this edition of Warriors Today by Chat Sports. My name is Tyler Smith. Let's dive into it, right? Is Jimmy Butler even a realistic trade candidate for Golden State? I mean, at this point, I'm not so sure. The regular season is 6 weeks away. Training camp is less than 3 weeks away. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this could potentially be a deal the Warriors swing down the line, maybe at the trade deadline when Jimmy Butler says, hey, I'm not going to resign in Miami, and they say, hey, we're not going to pay you. Here's what Sam Amick told Tim Kawakami on a podcast about how the Warriors would go about facilitating a Jimmy Butler trade. He said, you need the wheels to fall off somewhere, talking about how a team needs to, bottom out, essentially, trend in the wrong direction, and be willing to trade a star like Jimmy Butler. Not free agency-wise, talking trade-wise. A couple of guys who come to mind, Jimmy Butler is going to be a free agent next summer. Didn't get an extension done. The Warriors, as you know, have interest there and think probably made a couple calls during the summer. That name comes to mind. So basically, the Warriors need the Heat to stink. They need the Heat to bottom out. They need the Heat to not be a threat in the Eastern Conference. And they need Jimmy Butler to be frustrated, essentially, with this situation with the Miami Heat. And for Golden State, as far as their aspirations, they're looking to win a championship for Steph, I think, right? That's all the hope that we have, that the Golden State is looking to win Steph Curry a 5th NBA championship, or at least be in the position to pursue one. This is a big swing deal you make. As far as players who could potentially be available, I'm not so sure that there's one as good as Jimmy Butler that's going to be available this season. Now, what's Jimmy Butler's situation? Why could he possibly be available? Well, it's probably because he's seeking a ton of money from the Miami Heat. He's seeking a 2-year, $113 million extension from the Heat. Now, he would be signing this extension next. These 2 years would start next season as he would decline his player option and then start a 2-year, $113 million deal. Now, that deal would also start at age 36. And Pat Riley didn't. This isn't a quote from Pat Riley, but the quote is that they've not discussed anything internally as far as a Jimmy Butler extension. What I read from that is we're not paying Jimmy max money at age 36. And Pat Riley also said we're also not trading Jimmy. So kind of a conundrum for Pat Riley and the Miami Heat front office with their star. They don't want to pay him, but they also don't want to trade him, so they're just going to let him walk in free agency? I find that hard to believe. Now, there's also reported interest that Jimmy Butler has with the Brooklyn Nets. I'm not really buying too much into that, honestly. That's really agent talk to me. Him and Ben Simmons have the same agent, and that's kind of why these talks have kind of emerged. And it's the dog days of September. People are fishing for stuff right now. Jimmy Butler, in my opinion, has no interest in the Brooklyn Nets. Why would he go to a rebuilding team at age 36? And especially when he's playing at this level. I mean, Jimmy Butler is still pretty much a consensus top 20 player in the NBA, right? Not going to flash you from the scoring department. This isn't Kevin Durant level of superstar. This isn't a microwave Anthony Edwards type of guy. Jimmy Butler, you know what you're getting, right? You're getting elite on-ball defense, and you're getting a guy who's going to lead your team. You're getting a guy who's going to be the kind of bravado on your roster. And you know what else you're getting? You're getting a guy who rises to the occasion in the postseason. And for a Warriors team that really lacks experience in that department right now, I mean, you're thinking about Brandon Pajemski and Jonathan Kuminga as your second and third scoring options. They have never played in a playoff series, so how are we even able to expect that they're going to rise to that occasion? We know that Jimmy Butler makes that big leap. Look at his numbers going from the regular season and to the playoffs. These are all coming from his days from the Miami Heat since 2019. Now, the numbers in the rebounding and the assist department don't change much. Even really the field goal percentage doesn't change much either. But what Jimmy Butler does become in the postseason is a better jump shooter. That's really where I see Jimmy Butler's game just take it to the next level. He becomes unconscious. I mean, you remember that Bucks series in that game 1 where he puts up like 50 plus and he's just unconscious from three-point range. He's not the most reliable three-point shooter. We know this. But I'm telling you right now, Jimmy Butler would be a phenomenal number 2 option. I mean, think about players in the NBA who could be a number 2, right? Golden State's in a unique position where they have Steph Curry. And if they were to trade for Jimmy Butler, he would be the number 2 on this team. How many teams would Jimmy Butler be the number 2 option on? Not many. Not many at all. So I think that Golden State, if they make this deal happen, they have one of the best duos now in the Western Conference. But does he fit on Golden State? We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But I want to hear from you guys. Are you guys paying Jimmy Butler a 2-year max deal? He wants 2 years, $113 million. That averages out to about $56.5 million for 2 years at age 36 and 37 seasons. Let me know down in the comments by typing pay or pass if you don't want to pay Jimmy Butler that 2-year max deal. Now, like I said, next, does Jimmy fit into this Golden State Warriors roster? And also, we have a trade idea, a proposal from our friends over at Bleacher Report to see what it would take to acquire Jimmy Butler and bring him to the Bay Area. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to our daily fantasy sports partner, and that is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Unlike most apps, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you got to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. And football season is here, and Prize Picks is giving you free wins every single week of September. One Caleb Williams passing yard gets you 1 win on Prize Picks every week of the month. That's right. Only one yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 weeks of free dubs. Don't miss this deal on Prize Picks because it's gone when September ends. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Now, you see the picks on screen right now. They already have projections out for the 2024-25 NBA season. Now, I'm going with Steph Curry to give me more than 26.5 points per game on the season. Listen, he's going to have to shoulder a ton of weight in Golden State this year. I think he's going to rise to the occasion. Zachary Riza-Shea. I have a little less faith in him. The #1 pick, kind of a head-scratcher there at #1. I don't really see him being a 10-point-per-game scorer this year. Give me the less on 10.3 points per game. And then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, this guy's a bucket getter. He's a free throw merchant. He just puts the ball in the cup. Give me more than 30.6 points per game on the season for him. You can fade my picks. You can tail my picks. Just do it over at Prize Picks. Make sure you download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS when you sign up and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even have to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. You guys like this picture right here? Little Steph and Jimmy. It looks pretty good. They look a little swaggy together in the Bay Area. Does Jimmy Butler, though, fit next to Steph Curry in this Golden State Warriors offense? I mean, that's constantly moving. Guys are moving off the ball, off-ball screens. Guys are curling off and hitting jump shots. Like, is that really Jimmy Butler's game? Let's find out. Who is Jimmy Butler? I think we all know that Jimmy Butler, at this point, and for a large portion of his career, has been an isolation scorer. We're going to break down some numbers here. Look at this one right here. Isolation frequency. 15.3% of his possessions that end up in a field goal attempt are from isolation attempts. So he's isoing a lot because it's ranked 18th in the NBA. And for a Miami Heat team that runs a pretty good offense that spreads the ball around, that's a pretty high number. Now, ISO to free throw line frequency. Every time he's in an isolation situation, how often does he get to the free throw line? 27.7%. So he's good in ISO situations. We can depend on him to go get to the free throw line and go knock down 2. It's pretty solid stuff because he's first among players who average more than 2 ISO possessions per game. Very, very good there. Now, how efficient is he on ISOs that he actually just takes a shot on and doesn't get fouled? Well, he's pretty good. He's actually 8th in the NBA in points per possession on isolation. That's very solid. So he's a dependable guy in this scenario, but it doesn't really fit necessarily with Golden State's offense. And for field goal attempts that he takes with 3+ dribbles, he's doing that at a frequency of 41.2%. So 41.2% of his attempts come after Jimmy Butler has already dribbled the ball 3 times. Now, where is he getting these shots up from? Here we go. This is Jimmy Butler's 2023-24 shot chart. Now, if you look right there close to the rim, Jimmy Butler's getting a lot of his looks from inside the paint. But he's also getting a ton of shots up from that short corner area and the right corner, left corner, 3-ball, where he's very efficient, actually. As far as corner threes, Jimmy Butler is above average as far as he is on the right side. But on the left, not so much. In the short corner, he's actually not as efficient as you might think. But then on the right wing, he's really efficient as well. Just really low volume 3-point shooting that Jimmy Butler has. But like I said, he's going to get most of his looks inside the paint and in that mid-range area. Doesn't really fit Golden State, in my opinion. Plus, Jimmy Butler has a fat contract right now. I mean, he's getting paid $48.8 million. Now, that doesn't mean anything necessarily for Golden State to be paying down the line, even though they would have to pay him a 2-year, $113 million extension, according to him. But $48.8 million, that means Golden State has to send out $48.8 million. And that's a ton of money for a Golden State team that doesn't have a ton of huge chunk contracts like that. But they do have one. Now, what does Bleacher Report think it would take to bring Jimmy Butler to Golden State? Well, Golden State would also get Josh Richardson out of it, another nice 3-and-D piece off the bench, but they'd be giving up a haul. Jonathan Kuminga, see ya. He'd be gone on the deal. Andrew Wiggins is that big chunk contract I was talking about. He makes $26+ million a year, so he's going to be gone as well. Plus, Kevon Looney, who the Warriors guaranteed his $8 million to likely include in a trade. Gary Payton, $9 million player option accepted. There's $17 million between those two guys right there. And then the draft picks. Since you're giving away all those bad contracts, you have to recoup in draft assets. And that's the 2025 and 2027 first, as well as a 2028 first-round pick swap. Listen, off the rip, this is a lot. I think 3 first-round picks for Jimmy, who is disgruntled. You don't even know if he's going to re-sign with you in free agency. I assume, though, that if you do make this deal, you have a commitment from Jimmy that he's going to be staying long-term. And what would a lineup look like with Jimmy Butler in it? I think this is really good, actually. I mean, as far as how it stacks up in the Western Conference, yeah, it might not be the best, but I'm saying that this is, I don't know, a 6th, 5th, 4th seed in the Western Conference, and at that point, you have Steph Curry. You have Jimmy Butler, who rises to the occasion every single postseason. Anything can happen if you have this lineup together, in my opinion. What do you guys think? Would you make this trade? Jimmy Butler and Josh Richardson to the Warriors. This is coming from Bleacher Report, by the way. This is not my trade idea. This is not what I would give up. But let me know what you guys think. Jonathan Kuminga, Andrew Wiggins, Kevon Looney, Gary Payton, and basically 3 first-round picks headed to the Miami Heat. Type A for accept, type D for decline. Now, that's going to be the end of today's edition of Warriors Today by Chat Sports. My opinion, I probably wouldn't give up that much in the deal. I would give up Kuminga, but I probably wouldn't give up 3 potential first-round picks that are valuable to the Miami Heat. But I do think that they should make a big swing deal for Jimmy Butler. And if they do, you're going to find out first right here on Golden State Warriors Today. YouTube.com/WarriorsTV. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you have your notifications turned on so you never miss a piece of Golden State Warriors news and updates. We'll see you in the next one. Let's go Dubs.